Hey, what's up? Most personal trainers are garbage, and I know because I used to be a garbage personal trainer back when it started. So I want to give you some reasons why most of them suck and some warning signs to look out for. So one of the reasons that most personal trainers suck is because they don't have any actual education. Now, in a previous video, I talked about how I got certified with the National Academy of Sports Medicine, and I felt that didn't actually prepare me for being a trainer. So just because someone's certified does not mean that they have education to train other people. And I'm not talking shit about newbies who are starting out and, you know, learning their way how to train. What I mean by not having education is not understanding the concept of exercise as it relates to themselves or other people. They just copied what they learned from the internet, just ended up looking stronger, and then they're just doing that for other people. In fact, that's one of the biggest warning signs that you have a dog shit trainer, and something I was guilty of back when I first started. They treat every client as if they're going for bodybuilding. I'm talking the 70-year-old woman, he has them doing bicep curls. Bro, what the fuck? Unless someone is specifically telling you, hey, I want to sculpt my body, I want to do bodybuilding stuff, a trainer should not be doing that shit with the general public, because the general public just needs a full-on muscle makeover, so to speak. They need to work on compound exercises, not, oh, I'm gonna fucking work on my biceps. Are you fucking kidding me? Can you squat? Can you squat to parallel first? That's first, all right? Can you even stand up straight? There are basic things that need to be taken of first before you start, zeroing in on little parts of the body. The whole body needs to function at a decent level first. So if you ever see a trainer training someone who's old or clearly untrained and they're doing very, very isolationist exercises like calf raises, bicep curls, really specific shit like that, they're probably dog shit. They're just copying what other people have done poorly, or just doing what worked for them. They're taking a one-size-fits-all approach with bodybuilding, something that's very specifically meant for people who are already somewhat knowledgeable in fitness. And that's another big reason why most trainers suck these days. They're not even getting the basic certifications out there to understand exercise as a holistic thing. They're just saying, whoa, I'm looking at this guy online. He looks strong as hell. He's doing fucking really specific. He's doing preacher curls. Oh my God. He's so big. I'm going to copy that. Since most of these people are young, they can just copy anything and kind of benefit from it anyways. But online, the majority of fitness is bodybuilding. If you look up fitness, it's just people doing very isolationist exercises for very specific muscle groups. Now, yeah, you see some yoga stuff, some running stuff online, whatever. For the most part, if you look up fitness stuff online, it is just people doing bodybuilding. So it makes sense that you would think bodybuilding equals fitness if you're stupid. And many trainers are. And by the way, before anyone gets butthurt, I know there are a lot of trainers who are very good, very knowledgeable. I'm talking about the majority. The majority suck. As the good trainers know. I'm not even saying I was one of the best trainers ever, but I was better than the average fucker. After I got out of Blink Fitness and went to Equinox and learned a lot of shit, I became much, much better. And a big part of that was, honestly, I lost a shit ton of weight. So that gave me a lot of empathy for people and what they were going through and, what it felt like going through that stuff. A lot of trainers just, again, they don't understand what it's like to go through certain things for different people. They just know, oh, I copy this exercise and it works. My calves are cool. That means I can teach everyone bodybuilding and it works. Because a lot of these things kind of just worked for this trainer, a lot of them, they don't treat it too seriously either. Another warning sign for a trainer. They're on their phone half the fucking time when they're with the client. That's huge. That's terrible. First of all, they don't give a shit. They're not paying attention. Secondly, if they're not paying attention, that is humongously dangerous for the client. All right. Now, the reason people see personal trainers is because they're pushing themselves. So they should be doing something that's fairly challenging for them. So if they're doing something fairly challenging that might be kind of new to them, and the trainer, the professional, not giving them attention, that's pretty fucking dangerous. So if you see a trainer doing this, don't go near. Relatedly, if a trainer comes to a client session with nothing, no notes on the phone, no notes on paper, no notes on tab, nothing whatsoever, that's a bad sign. That means they have no plan, no long-term path for this person. One of the biggest things that a trainer needs to do is talk to a client, understand what they want and what they need, and then plan things out somewhat loosely to make sure that, there's some flexibility in there. But they need to have somewhat of a long-term plan. They can't just say, hey, just come in next week. We'll figure it out. Just do whatever. See how you feel. I actually knew a trainer who kind of winged it each time, but he got his clients results. So his mind was keeping track of a lot of shit, I guess. But most trainers, when they come in with nothing, no plan, nothing written down, nothing, that means they don't give a shit or they don't have a plan. Either one, very bad. If a client asks the trainer, hey, what are we doing on our second session next week? You should have a decent idea of what you're telling them. And you should have a bunch of backup stuff in your program as well, because you don't know what can happen at gym. Things are taken up, the client's not feeling well a certain day. You should be able to have a plan and have it be flexible enough for it to be, useful for that person. One of the biggest warning signs of a trainer is, to be fair, you can't really catch this unless you're somewhat experienced yourself, but basically, if you see a trainer and their client is doing exercise with poor form, and instead of correcting them, they are discounting their shitty trainer. The first fucking rep you see with poor form, maybe the second rep if you want to make sure they're consistently doing it poorly, that, like, as soon as you see that shit, they, hey, stop, you got to correct that. Because doing something incorrectly over and over, learning how to do something incorrectly, is the same thing as learning something harmful for you. But a lot of trainers are either too scared to bring something up to their paying client, which I can understand somewhat, because a client, if they're a certain way and they're like, oh man, I don't like the way you're doing it, I'm taking back my money, I'm not seeing you, then that can be scary for someone. But the thing is, they're going to do the same shit when they don't get results or they injure themselves. So it's in your best interest to correct them as soon as you can. It doesn't matter if you have to take the whole fucking session on that exercise if they don't get it. I mean, if you're taking that long, just swap it out this time and work on corrective stuff. But yeah, ignoring poor form is fucking horrible. Another warning sign of a bad trainer is they're basically treating their one-on-one clients as if they're doing group fitness, but for one person. And by that, I mean, they're not paying super attention to their form. They're just kind of motivating them. You say, hey, yeah, keep on going, blah, blah, blah. Not kind of walking them through what they're doing, why they're doing it, how it has to do with their goals. They're just saying, yeah, let's do this exercise, do this. And the novelty, that is the worst part of these kinds of trainers who treat their clients like they're in group fitness classes. The novelty. You cannot get good at something if you keep switching around to something else. And that's what group fitness classes are usually guilty of doing. They just bring in new exercises every class because the people there just want the novelty. They just want to sweat, and they think that if you sweat and you ate, you did good. That's what they're thinking. So these shitty trainers, they bring that mindset to their clients, and the client isn't really learning anything. They're just swapping exercises every single session. They're just getting encouraged to sweat and keep on going through this exercise that they are not sure why they're doing it. But a lot of people in the general population, they don't really understand that you don't need to sweat to properly exercise. You don't need to ache the next day to make sure you did something good. But most people think that. You make them ache, you make them sweat. They think that's what you need to do. It's a really easy excuse when they don't make progress. You can just say, hey, I mean, we got to work harder, I guess. Complete bullshit. I hate those fucking trainers. Anyway, if you see any of that stuff, just don't work with that trainer. Training is already expensive enough. Don't waste your money. This video is turning from a guide to me airing my grievances. So I'm just going to stop right here. If you want some help with the weight loss stuff, check the links in the description. And if you want more videos, subscribe. If you don't give a shit, bye.